I'm convinced we're the most cursed team in professional sports.
You guys are bad.
I've been saying this hot take for a long time, and I'm sticking to it. My hot take is that Will McDonald's going to hit 15 sacks.
No member of the New York Jets' Week 1 offensive line will miss a game all year.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time! So get ready to rumble!
Well, hello. What is up, everyone? Welcome to the Danger Zone. Tonight we have chaos in the zone.
I'm
Jeremy,
here. Yes.
How are you, sir? How are you?
I'm good. Some would even say golden.
Okay, Pony Boy Chaos. I like it. By the way, you know what? It's a cold opening. Were you required to read The Outsiders or to watch it as a kid?
No, I wasn't. I was not required. I think I remember it. I think I remember. Is that the one where in the scene of the movie in the commercial they'd always like show the guy going, "Don't touch me, man."
it was kind of like a Timu version of Grease in a way.
Yeah. There was definitely a moment where someone said that. He goes, "Don't touch me, man."
Guarantee you. It had Pony Boy, and yeah, man, we had to watch that in like 6th or 7th grade. Maybe that started.
Didn't they have like a little Rich Kent character, like a Rich Kent wuss, like a wuss going, "Hey everybody, play with me." Like, I forgot which character that was.
Dude, I gotta watch that again now. Good shit, man. Yeah, good to know you're golden. I would you know what? The chat's still rolling in. I know they just probably watched Green Bean and Dom do their first mock draft of the off season. Me and you, did our first last week. So interesting stuff, man.
Green Bean and Dom just trying to keep up with you and me, man.
Facts, man. They better pump the GLP-1 if they want to catch these bods. Big combine week, big week of Jets news. Believe it or not, folks. I know you all believe it. Jeremy, let me start there, man, because the combine is nice and all, but we, in my opinion, traded a cornerstone of this franchise. Again, in my opinion. What do you say about the Jets kicking off one of the days of this week? I don't know if it was Wednesday or Tuesday or Thursday. I literally woke up and the first thing I saw was Jermaine Johnson traded. What did you see that morning?
At first, it was a little punch in my gut. I'm a big JJ fan, but then I was realistic about it. It was a good trade. It freed up a lot of money for us. It showed it was if you already and we're still in denial of it, and I've been saying it for quite some time, and I think that there's no longer anybody that will argue it. If you needed any more proof that we're switching to a 3-4 defense, I think there's absolutely no question in the world. It's 100% factual now. We are switching to a 3-4 defense. And when you look at it, and can make all the considerations, we save it. We get $13 million more towards the cap. We get something like that. We get a guy that has 2 more free years because you get him this season and the next season. So we get ourselves an extra cheap year, and we get a very important position for a 3-4 defense, which is a big, fat, strong nose tackle. And that's what you need to run a 3-4. That had to be addressed if we were going to switch to a 3-4. There was no question. This was a really smart way to repair or transition the roster for what we are going to be doing. We had to turn it and convert this defense into a 3-4 defense. And I think that you're going to see, it's a good indicator. You're probably going to see Arvell Reese get drafted. And you're going to, and that's what it's going to be. Like, we're going to be a full, get used to 4 linebackers, everybody.
You know what? Yeah, agreed. But I don't want to jump there yet. Jermaine's tweet is here, man. I really do think that he would have stayed here for a long time if we let him.
Yeah.
It's a shame because he literally was my favorite player. Like, after all the dust settled and the Sauce Gardners and the Quinnen Williams exit and the MC2s, I just honed in on this guy because, like, Murph and you and I know others, big time Will McDonald fans. And I am as well. But like Jermaine, just I don't know, man. He just held a special place in my heart. To see him shipped off initially, and I'll tell you, man, I think I'm like most Jet fans, man. It hurt for a really long time, and then minute 11, as we do, minute 11 hits, and we start breaking it down, and it's like, okay, it makes sense. It sucks, but it makes sense. And like you said, man, 3-4, and did he have a fit? And he is literally on a $15 million tag, a 50-year option tag, whatever you want to call it right now, all guaranteed. We'd have to pay him even more the following year. It's like, dude, literally so many times the last year or two, I was looking at this roster and thinking, oh my God, we got like 6 guys at least that'll command 20 AAV. All of a sudden, it's like 5, 4, 3, 2,
I know.
1.
we went from a year and a half ago to how are we going to keep everybody? It's impossible. To we have too much money that's going to be available. It's like we're not going to even know what to do with it all. we're gonna have enough money to buy a new football team next year in 27.
First and foremost, sad, but also like happy for Jermaine because like contract year, going back with Sala. Literally, like you see him on social media. He's wearing a cowboy hat. He's Jermaine the album, and he's going to Nashville. Like, bro, dude, like, good for him. Good for him. I want to say that first. I think he landed better than Sauce did. Regardless of what it netted us, I'm just saying, like, outgoing, he landed in a better spot than maybe anyone we've traded away in the last year. Still gonna rep this for a month or two, Chinese knockoff, but at least it's still got to pour one out for him, man. That's all I'm saying is salutes to Jermaine, man. If he didn't tear that Achilles, I don't know if this day ever happens, but it did. We saved money.
Thank God for your soul, Dana, because I know. Thank God for your soul We haven't lost your guy yet. We haven't lost Brees Hall yet, Dana. And I know that you preciously are holding on to the hope that Brees Hall will stay, Joe.
I'm holding on. Like,
At
don't
any
let go of
cost.
the rope.
At any cost, any cost. 20 million per for 4 years, guaranteed.
Dude, we didn't tag him, and I think that's evident. If he wanted to sign, he would have. If we wanted to tag him, we would have. There's still people out here in these streets thinking we're going to strike a long-term deal. Get the hell out of here, man. He is testing the market. He's never coming back. We didn't tag him because if he tested the market, he would have never came back, and we never would have got a comp pick. So now, no tag. When he doesn't come back, we can get a comp pick. I mean, it was just a smarter move. But final thoughts on Jermaine, man. Kudos to him. Sweat, okay. Thoughts on Sweat specifically, not his fit, but do you have any thoughts on Tavondre?
From what I see of him, he's a top 5 interior tackle in the NFL according to PFF. So, he is exactly what you need in a 3-4 nose tackle. And a friend of mine just said it very recently. If you look back at when we've had success as Jet fans, we've tended to have really big fatties playing somewhere in the middle of the interior of our defensive line. So I feel good that sad for JJ, but I feel good about the player and Sweat. I do. I feel like we have a really solid, good, nose tackle that's kind of like the anchor of when you do the thought process of the 3-4 defense. It's like the first thing my head goes to is that you start with that big fatty in the middle that's gonna just seal that hole,
I do.
absorb those blocks.
No, I do. Like, honestly, I think this isn't anything profound, but like, you gotta think back to like Sione Paua and Damon Snacks Harrison, man. Like, were those not two guys that were fan favorites? And they were one dimensional as hell. This is that. Um, Gauging the Titan fan base that first day or two was tough because, so I mean, it's always hard to figure out, like, is a guy making this content for clicks? Is he making it because he really believes this? But like, initially, I saw shorts going viral about how the Titans fleeced us, how Tavondre Sweat is lazy, fat, oft injured, and they just got Jermaine Johnson in a trade for him, who has had X amount of sacks and blah, 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 and a solid scheme fit, and Sweat was on his way out anyway, and blah, blah, blah. And then a few hours later, you see another short, and it's like, oh my God, we traded a top 5 IDL for a guy who had 3 sacks last year. And it's like, man, I don't even know what to make of this trade anymore. But the fact that they're on the fence, in my opinion, 2 different shorts, 2 different takes, I think that speaks good because they're torn up. We're torn up. I think it's a win-win, man. You don't see player for player trades very often. And like,
I think it's a win for both players, by the
yeah,
way. Like, for both, I think it's a win-win for both players. I think obviously for Sweat because he didn't fit in Tennessee and what Salah's going to do, and Johnson is Salah's guy. Salah knows exactly how he's going to use him. He's going to use him exactly how he wants to be used. So it's a win-win for those two players. They're where they belong.
no, I'm with you. I'm with you entirely. And I think that, like, I sat back and thought, oh my God, we traded Jermaine for a single player and we didn't get a pick in return at all. And then I look into Sweat and it's like, okay, that it's kind of even. And then like Titans are like, we didn't get a pick at all. It's like, okay, we all feel equally bad. We all feel equally good. Let's just call it what it is, man. And it's an even trade, like you said. But
Yeah.
also, like, I didn't
And
realize Jermaine's like 27 and Sweat's like 24. That's a big difference.
Yeah, yeah, and you also got to, you know what the reality is, like when we look at these individual moves, like we won the Jamal Adams trade without question. There's no argument about it. But does it matter? What have we gotten out of it as far as wins, right? So the reality is, what really matters is there might be good picks, bad trades, good trades. What really matters in is let's fast forward 3 years and look at where we are as a team. That's what says if all this is a success or not, right? So that's when you know if it's a good trade or a bad trade. If in 3 years from now we're in the playoffs in the divisional round game competing with a chance to go to the AFC championship game, nobody, whether it ended up being a good or bad trade, is going to be talking about it. We're just going to be talking about the fact that the overall big picture is our GM built a real team.
Agreed. Agreed. There's one thing I wanted to slap up there real quick before we move on. Let me see if I can get it to load real fast. Yeah, let me get my big ass head out of the way. Um,
Sean McAteer. Sean McAteer is here.
Sean McAteer,
Defend
he
that.
is the OG, long goatee, long before Scott Foster, long before me. Sean McAteer. You know what? If you watch the Friday night show, you'll see that the intro kicks off with him in a mask and it says, "Love the show, love you guys. Let's go Jets, 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 Jets." That is Sean McAteer. He is one of one. Good to see him always. But I did mention the age. I wanted to pull this real quick and like look at it like PFF defense. Sweat, not bad. Run D, better, not bad. Pass rush, better, not bad. Pressure rate, better than JJ, not bad. Defensive stops, okay, not quite, but he's also clogged up in the middle, and you know how that
Yeah,
goes.
clogged up in the middle. It's clogged up in the
Yeah,
middle, like different roles, right? I mean,
agreed, agreed. So
his, yeah, his one job is to not get pushed around. It's to hold his ground, right? If you can, push the guy back in and take away the pocket from the quarterback.
agreed, agreed. So let's move on. Let's go. I got another graphic here. Oh, whoops, wrong graphic. My bad, my bad.
Your dream is just us hanging out.
Facts.
With me. How did you know I had? Did you go through my Facebook? How did you know I owned? I do have a Tommy Bahama
Hey,
pineapple
hey,
shirt. I do.
magician never reveals his secrets, sir. Um,
That's went through my Facebook, dude, because that's like I had a yellow pineapple freaking Tommy Bahama shirt.
I drew this with colored pencils. Okay, leave me alone. And you know what? Another thing before we get into the combine stuff, there's one other thing I want to bring to your attention, and that is the fact that we have a superhero on uh, on the coaching staff. I want to get your thoughts about Aaron Glenn and the fact that he is the play calling Superman moving forward.
Man, when I saw this, I copied it and I started putting it in all my text threads. I said, "Fucking Dano, man, is the best." Because this was classic. This is classic. I love it. I knew the second I was listening to that press conference when he said, "That's like my superpower, play calling." I said, "Oh my god." Like I knew this wasn't something that I personally noticed that's going to slip through this fan base. Like I knew that this is gonna I would nobody like like that's like solid when he said receipts. When it's solid, that's what it is. Because now every time there's a big play against us, like if we go into that first game of the season, there's a big play against our defense. Everyone's gonna be saying, "We're superpowers. Where's your superpowers?"
Like, no, I can see it now. Like a year, not even a year from now, but 8 months from now, you know, Thanksgiving or whatever, when our play calling is shit, we're gonna say, "Man, Aaron, if this is your superpower, then you're going to be asking him, what do you do well outside of this? Like, you're right, man. When you hear the pressers and you catch a quote like that, it's not even that you cringe, because I didn't cringe when I heard him say that, but I just know, like, I cringed because I know how people will spin that. And as soon as I heard that, I'm with you, man. I thought to myself, oh boy, they're gonna run with this. And then I thought to myself, you know what? Why don't I run with it? Fuck it. And I put this out, and I'm glad you liked it, sir. Hey man, doesn't mean it's gonna fail. It does. I just want to put it that way. Like, this is a memeable moment for that we could, he could regret ever saying this, but also maybe he doesn't. The jury's still out.
Hmm.
But I mean, he signed a check. Can he cash it? Right? That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, yeah. Well, he did it. He opened up his mouth. So, you know, I thought, the scary thing about opening up your mouth like that, and I'm going to call the plays, and play calling is my superpower, is I don't know, man. The draft hasn't happened, free agency hasn't happened. Right now, our defense is pretty bad. Like, so I don't know. I don't know if it matters how good you are at calling plays. You've got to have the roster for it. And even if, it might take more than a year to build up that roster to back up that superpower statement. So I don't know. I don't know. It was a big, bold statement from him to
It
say
was.
that.
It was even unprompted, I would say. He kind of just brought it out. Chat's having a good time with it. I'm glad. All right, moving on, man. Long week, man. Long week of combine news and nuggets. I don't know how you were hanging on every morsel. I don't know your thought process with how to digest some of the stuff, but like everyone in here probably was plugged in this week, and you get so much info. It's almost it's so hard. It's so hard. I'm just speaking personally. It's so hard to wrap your mind around some of it because it's like boom, 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 boom. This guy's good. This guy's down. This guy's up. This guy's medium. Like, talk to me. Like, how do we digest all of these news and nuggets? Because let's face it, I mean, if you listen to the mainstream media, man, Sonny Styles should be drafted first overall, and Drew Aller should be drafted second, and Dylan Thieneman third. Sadiq will be fourth.
Well, I could have told you, and I think I've said it, and people jump all over me and have mocked me and said all, like, and just ripped me apart for saying it. But I said it 2 months ago that you're going to see Drew Aller climb up the board. I said it. I've been saying it. I said as soon as he comes back to the combine and he's healthy, if he comes back to the combine healthy and he shows that arm and they see his size, there's going to be at least, well, that's what I said, 32 GMs. It only takes one, but it's going to be a few of them are going to see the size of the player, 6'4". They're going to see that cannon of an arm he has, and they're going to say, I could develop him, or let me take a chance on this guy if he's not going to cost the top 10 pick, if he's not going to be a first round pick. If he's a guy, though, in the second round, that, and it only takes one guy to say I could turn that into a quarterback, or we have to take a chance. So I honestly, I'm up to second round on Drew Aller. He's going to be a second round pick. I'm not saying it should be us. I'm not saying it's the smart thing to do, but I knew that was going to happen. And it's, you know what? There's still the pro day to go. So let's see what happens after his pro day. But I'm telling you already that Drew Aller is a second round pick. He's going to go in the second round.
You know what?
And it might be the dumbest pick. It might be the dumbest pick in the world. I'm not saying we should do it. I'm just saying like, watch this draft. He's not going to make it out of the second round.
I hate to poo-poo on your hot take, Chaos, because I do feel like it is a hot take. And if you want to spam the hot take emojis in the chat now, feel free. But I don't want to poo-poo on it. But what I'm about to say might, and that's I would toy with Aller in round 2. I would. I'm sorry. And I know Simpson got so much pub this week, but like Aller for me looked pretty good, man. interviews, performance. Not only that, just like reassuring to see him like fitting the bill. I know you saw Ty Simpson singing the JETS chant and all that, but like I think I would rather Aller at 33 to 50 than I would Simpson at 10 to 30, if that makes sense.
No, when you're talking about draft value versus the player, what you're saying is I wouldn't draft Simpson that high because you're saying you believe he's going to be a franchise quarterback, and you don't believe it's that confident of a thing, so he doesn't belong to go that high. And you're saying that Drew Aller in the second round is a really good dart to throw because if you can coach this guy and fix his footwork, and there was a time where he would have been a top 5 pick if the season, not the last season, but the season before it, if it would have ended after week 10, just magically, another outbreak of virus, God forbid, knock on wood, and the season stopped, and then they went right into the draft, he would have been a top 5 pick. So he did something to get to that spot at one point. At one point, he showed something to be a top 5 guy at one point, right? Something he was doing they liked. So I get what you're saying. I'll tell you one thing with Simpson. I've warmed up enough with Simpson that if we take him in the second round at 33 or 45 or whatever it is, I'm going to be okay with it. Like, I don't know about it, but I'm going to be okay with the concept of the team taking a shot on him in the second round. Like, I'm going to be okay if that happens. I don't know if he's going to make it that far. We all know what happens to quarterback in the draft, right? I mean, it tends to, they all go and, someone's going to trade up to 15 or 14 or whatever, and they're going to grab them. But I would be okay with it now because he did look great in the combines, and there are some really good things to like about him. It's risky though, so that's why if someone says, "Well, why wouldn't you take him at 16 then?" Because it's too risky for me. I think I wouldn't gamble the guaranteed good quality player we can get at 16. You know what I mean? It's too much. It's too much to give up. But now when you're looking in the second round, suddenly I'm saying, yeah, it's a little punch in the stomach to give away a second round pick if he doesn't work. But if he's a franchise quarterback, like what if he becomes a really good quarterback? It's not the pick I would make, but I'm warming up to not being angry about it if it happens.
Agreed.
I'll say that.
Dude, if you know what I think the best case scenario would be is to end night 1 with having only Mendoza be chosen, and then sitting there at 33 with Simpson to dangle in front of other teams, but be content with Aller. And then, hey, maybe you slide a little bit because you'd rather the value of picking Aller than the taking of Simpson. But we'll see. I mean, there's still time. There's pro days even. Like, there's so much. I mean, what are we, 6-7 weeks away? Like, but this was one piece of it, and I think both guys played well. I do. Got a super chat, Jeremy. Before we get back on track, I want to hit you with Carlos. Man, Carlos has been probably the most loyal member the last couple weeks. Man, he's coming in fiery and he's got opinions, and I love that about him because none of them are ever parroted. This one, in my opinion, is not a parroted take, but I want to ask you your thoughts on it. He says $5. The Jets likely go edge at 2. He says Reuben Bain Jr. And then tackle at 16. Kelvin Banks Jr. tackle. Okay. Prioritizing premium positions over weaker linebacker, tight end, and interior O-line classes. So what do you make of that, Jeremy?
I don't see how you. I mean, look. I mean, in all due respect, I'm not doubting the player, but how do you take an offensive tackle at 16 when you have all the holes that we have and you have 2 offensive tackles? You're going to draft the guy that you have to keep on the bench, or are you going to play him at guard? And if you're going to play him at guard, why wouldn't you just take? The kid from Penn State, whose name I can't say?
Yeah,
Vega.
We will talk him because he is firmly on my radar. But yeah. I mean, what do you think of Edge at 2? Let's start there. Edge at 2.
Okay, we'll start. Okay, my problem, Edge at 2 for sure, but the problem is, and here's my question about Ruben Bain. When you say take Ruben Bain at 2, what are you doing with him? Are you going to stand him up? Like, are you going to stand up a guy who doesn't stand up? Like, like I mean, maybe I'm not saying he can't. I'm not saying he can't. I'm not an expert on this. Maybe he could play outside linebacker and stand up. I just haven't seen a lot of it. When I watch his film, I don't see him ever coming out of that kind of position. He's usually wide 9 or whatever it is, or lined up, right? And a lot of times they even line him up to the inside. He's more of a JFM type where he could go to the inside, right? Because he's strong enough and he does a lot of good things. I love the player in a 4-3. Ruben Bain is probably my guy in a 4-3. In a 3-4, though, that just doesn't work for me. The only guy that works in a 3-4 for me, and I have a lot of concern about it because I think I'm not denying it could be a mistake, but Arvell Reese seems to be the 3-4 guy. He's built for that more than anybody that's there.
I'm with you.
But the problem, and the other answer to Ruben Bain is: are you going to play him at defensive end? Because I'm not using a number 2 overall pick for a defensive end in a 3-4. I'm sorry. That's like, I just can't do it. That's just wasting who he is, in my opinion.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. And Carlos, I'm sorry, brother, but I mean, I am with the Reese Brigade at 2. I just want to say it right now, man. I've never met a Reese I didn't like, especially Cups. But Bain, I think the Jermaine trade kind of just put it firmly in the fray. We are 3-4. Reese, outside backer, defensive end, outside linebacker. Dude, having him as a Swiss Army knife, I think would be massive. And I'm not saying you're wrong, Carlos, because who knows, man. Let's wait and see. I will write this down though. On March 1st, you want Ruben Bain Jr. I will never forget that, Carlos. I will never let you forget it.
And I want to be really clear. Before I knew that we were switching to a 3-4, I was all about Ruben Bain.
He is
all
no
about
nonsense, man. All ball, and I love that about him. I do. Questioning the scheme fit. I think that's your main thing, right?
I just don't. I think that it's the opposite of what we just did. Like we literally just traded Jermaine Johnson for a nose tackle because we're shifting to a 3-4. Are we really going to draft a guy at 2 that say, okay, for the first time ever, let's play a game. Let's see if Ruben Bain could stand up and play offensive linebacker. And if the answer is no, I mean put him at defensive ends. I think that's just a terrible waste.
Yeah.
The Jets used to do that. The Jets did that in the 2000 teens. They did that. They would, like, when they were in a 3-4, right? They were drafting defensive tackles. I was like, what are you doing?
Over and over.
Like, what are you doing? Like, you just don't do that. That's just not positional value. You can't do that at number 2. You can't pick a defensive end in a 3-4 defense at number 2. You just can't do it. You're wasting his gifts. He needs to be able to, you can line him up inside sometimes. You could stunt him inside. You could do all that, but you also got to line him up wide in certain situations. Like, he's an edge, man. He's a 4-3 edge.
Let me move on. What I will say about Carlos's first super chat here, we have one more from him, but what I will say is that
I like Carlos, though. I do like him.
Dude, that
like
last part that he says, I think is accurate. I do see us prioritizing premium positions over weaker positions, linebacker, tight end, interior O-line. I think he could be right there. I don't know about tackle. I don't know about Bain specifically, but I could see them still feeling like they're in the very first infant, stage of a rebuild and wanting to prioritize the bigger, more pivotal spots, especially considering they've been trading away all of ours. So, so I appreciate you, Carlos, man. Appreciate that super chat as well. I got one more from him, and then I got a couple more rapid fire ones. And I want to get your thoughts on this. $5 from Carlos, back to back. He says at 33 and 44, expect a dynamic wide receiver like Luther Burden III and a top DB,
Bell.
such as Malachi Starks, to boost the offense and complete a fast defense. Chaos, what do you think of that?
Well, if we didn't take a wide receiver in the first rounds, and we didn't take a safety in the first rounds, I'm 100% in all my mocks taking a wide receiver and a safety in the second round. So I totally am okay with this. You know, Emmanuel Warren or Dylan or AJ Halsey. There's a bunch of safeties that will probably be there in the second round. Like one of them will make it to the second round at least, right? And then in this case, if you're going to go wide receiver second rounds, I like to. And people won't like this, but I would roll the dice on Chris Bell. Or I would take Brazel. I mean, this guy Brazel or whatever from Tennessee. I would totally be okay with that. The guy's 6'5" and runs a 4.37. There's no way I would be upset with that. But I'm okay taking Bell. Somebody has to take Bell. He's a first round wide receiver that got hurt, so he's now a guy that you can get in the second round. That's maybe he's not ready to start the season. I don't care. I don't care about next year. I mean, I will take a shot on Chris Bell, man. He could be a really special player.
We actually dropped a short on the channel this week saying just that, man. He could be sneaky value depending on how many teams pass up on him. Because, I mean, let's face it, like, if you're a win now team, maybe you don't draft a Chris Bell, right? Like, who better to take a guy like that and let him sit for 6 to 12 months than a team like ours? Like, could be the move.
Tennessee second rounds, Jets second rounds, Cleveland second rounds. I mean, these are the kind of teams where it totally makes sense. You're not winning anything next year anyway.
Dude,
build for the future.
I would say
get your guy.
I would say the Raiders, but they got Surratt and Cooper, and who knows who else they'd want to pair with Mendoza. But yeah, he might be there dangling for us at 44. I like that. I do like taking a safety as well, Carlos. I do, and I'm with you, Jeremy. There. I wish Thieneman didn't have the showing that he did this week, because I think that he has moved up ahead of spot 33. I'll tell you that. But let's keep going, because we do have some dynamic chats. Like Carlos wants a dynamic receiver. Johnny Boy chimes in. He says, "Chaos, such a hottie. Oh, hey, Dano. Do it for Johnny." And if you guys don't know what the hell he's talking about, "Do It for Johnny," that is a movie quote from The Outsiders that we spoke about on the top of the show. Johnny Boy chiming in. He knows all about that film.
Yeah, man. I freaking love Johnny. I love him. I want to go to his house for a barbecue. I do. I don't know if you've seen pictures of his kid, man. His son, it's like a little Johnny. It's like the cutest thing you've ever seen in the world, man. It's like little
Johnny,
Johnny.
boy.
I want
why boy.
I want to pick the kid up and throw him in the air and catch him, and then I want to throw him in the air and catch him, and just say, "You little Johnny boy, so cute." But nah, good old Johnny boy, man. If you really think I'm such a hottie, what do you
pull up?
Pull up. Let's honk 3 times, real short. Beep beep beep. So my wife doesn't get
suspicious. Super chat from the one, the only Jake Asman, $2. He says, "Late night Dano and Jets chaos. Oh yeah, yes."
Yeah, yes. Oh yeah, yes. Let me tell you something. Jake Asman, life of the party at O'Leary's wedding. Guy is dragging me out onto the dance floor. He was a blast, man. He was
one of you guys needed to have a GoPro on, man. Damn.
He needs me on the road with him one of these days. One of these days, he really needs to bring me to this draft event or something, because he has no idea what I'll do for him. He will look up and see Aaron Glenn coming to his table with me, like walking him with my hand on his ear, saying, "Come on, Aaron, come on," and sitting him down with Jake Osmond. Like, he has no idea what I would have done for him if I was at the draft. The guys,
tell him you can highlight some chats while he's streaming too, to make it worth his while. But when it's not time to live stream, you got like the Ulbrich. Yeah, you got the Glenn, I guarantee you.
by the way, when I got to the best part about it would be is I would have gotten to Glenn and I would have said, you really have to talk to this guy. And he would have said, why do I have to talk to this guy? I'm here for business. Everybody wants to talk to me. Why would I have to talk to him? And I would pull out some of the videos and some of the things that Jake Osmond has said about him. I said, look what this guy's been talking about you for the last 3 months. You don't want to meet up with this guy? He'd be like, he wouldn't say no then. He'd be like, yeah, let me talk to this guy.
Hey, Aaron, come do some damage control because you're getting cooked out here in these streets. Yeah, sorry, not sorry, but kind of true. All right, on to the next. Joe, the Jet G. Love saying that every single time he chats, man. I love saying that. $2 just to follow Jake here. He says Kyler Murray is starting to feel inevitable. Ooh, chaos. Gotta hear your thoughts on that.
I mean, it could happen, but it doesn't feel inevitable. I mean, it could be Tua. It could be Kirk Cousins. It could be Derek Carr. Everybody keeps saying like Minnesota, Derek Carr, Minnesota, Kirk Cousins. Like Minnesota can't get them all. They're not getting all the quarterbacks. So it's I don't know who's getting who. It's musical chairs. I already put my money down. If I'm betting, like if there was a sports app that let you bet on that, who the Jets' next coach is going to quarterback is going to be. I mean, I'm not saying anything. I have any information. It's not from anything intelligent. I would put my money on Kirk Cousins. I really would.
You know who I would put my money on? Mariota. But the only problem I would have is, do I still win if he's QB2 and not QB1? Like that, that's a sticky little. If I could bet on him being on our roster in 6 months, I would throw the mortgage on it. But I can't tell you if he's going to be 1 or 2. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm not. And then, by the way, I'm Greg Rallo. I swear to God, I'm not saying I want Cousins. I'm not talking about what I want. I'm predicting what I think is going to happen. If I was betting on what was going to happen, not necessarily what I want, Greg. I'm just saying what I think is going to happen. And the reason I think it's going to happen, the reason I'm betting on it happening, is Kirk Cousins wants to start. He does not want to be told, you're going to come here and compete with JJ McCarthy. And if you're better than him, you'll get to start. And guess what? If you struggle at all, you're going to have him looking over your shoulder, just like you did in Atlanta, for us to bring in the younger quarterback. He doesn't want that. The Jets offer him, again, I'm not saying I want him, but the Jets, here's why the Jets want him. AG wants him because if you're AG and you might only have 1 more year to prove yourself and you're on the hot seat, you're taking Kirk Cousins. You're just going to do it. You're going to take the guy who's had the most career success in his career. And Derek Carr you can make that argument, and maybe it is. Maybe he's maybe he is going to be the guy we end up getting. Maybe we're going to end up getting Derek Carr. But Derek Carr was terrible in New Orleans and then hasn't played in a year. So we don't know what, so that's risky too. I'm just thinking, if I'm Aaron Glenn, what's my safest bet? And I'm thinking he's going to think it's Kirk Cousins. He's going to think that's a safe bet. He fits into what the offensive coordinator likes. That's what Reich likes to coach, right? He likes pocket passers. It just is the fit. It doesn't mean I like it, because I don't love the idea of a guy that's going to come in and possibly win us 5 to 6, 7 games if everything works perfectly. I don't like that, because he's gone after that, so it means nothing. And all he did was stop us from getting a good draft pick to get a quarterback. So I'm not saying it's a good outcome for the Jets. I'm just saying I think that if I was a betting man and I had to put $100 on it, that's where I'd put my $100.
I would love to know which of these quarterbacks, these retreads, will come to Aaron Glenn in a dream. In a dream. As we've seen, nationally televised. Who is he dreaming of, guys? Let me know. Kyler Murray, we've spoken of. Kirk Cousins, we broached on the subject of Mariota. We have Dylan Gabriel down below. Scott said he'll quit if we go Kyler Murray. Scott, who is your A1? I gotta know, because there's not enough. Like, it seems like there's 27 names, and then there's Minnesota, and there's us. Kirk isn't going to Vegas. to have you draft Mendoza and Penix him again, like Chaos said. He wants the bona fide number one spot, and we can offer it. I don't agree that we're the only team that can, or the only team that will. I don't agree with that, but I do think that it's a very short
Also,
list.
I
It's a
don't think
very short list.
we're not the only. Miami, if they went to get him, would start him. Right? He's not gonna. I don't think he's worried about yours. So no, I don't. I'm not saying we're the only team. Miami would. If he went to Arizona, he'd start there every game. You know, and Jacoby Brissett would be his backup if they kept him.
Facts.
So there are going to be a few teams that will offer him full starting, you know, like to be their starter if that's the guy that they pick.
What do you make of Tanner McKee?
I mean, I don't care if they do it. I won't be mad. I mean, like, yeah, you know, I'm not saying I know nothing about him because he doesn't have enough reps. Like, he's a mystery. He looked pretty good in 2 starts, you know. But at the same time, I don't care so much about next year. I know that's not a popular thing. I'm not saying tank. I'm not saying, but I don't care. I don't care a crazy amount. Like if they basically took Tanner McGee because they wanted to throw a dart and say maybe this guy could be the guy. Maybe we bring in a Tanner McGee and give him a chance, and suddenly we realize he's a good starting quarterback, and suddenly we check the box. We have our quarterback. If that's what they're doing and they want to take a shot at it, I don't care so much because if they're wrong, we're going to get what I really want, and that what I really want is to draft a quarterback next year. And I don't know that there's going to be great quarterbacks next year. I just know that there's none this
Yeah,
year.
correct.
So, unless we take Drew Allen,
Plus,
which is I gamble,
well,
but I would be a little part of me would be excited.
yeah, and even take him, but I think you still, you sit him and you still draft again. Why not, man? What do you
Yeah.
make of this guy that I added on stream here, Chaos? And I want to highlight Rich Sports Talk, Nolan. Check him out, man. He does Jets and Giants content as well. He says, "Did I start the campaign for Sadiq at 16 yet?" What did you see of Kenyon Sadiq's week, Chaos, and what did you make of it if you saw it?
I was already very excited and about the prospect of adding him to our team, and I've said it a million times. I'd be perfectly happy with it. Right, we live out here on the West Coast. We know this player very well. He's extremely special. He did nothing to hurt that at the combine. He only got me more excited. The speed is just phenomenal. The guy's a freak. And it's nothing against Mason Taylor. I like Mason Taylor, and I hope he continues to develop and take the next step and be a good tight end in the league. But Sadiq is a different beast. Sadiq is a weapon. Like I believe he could be, right? Like we always have to put that little caveat that because any of these guys could be a bust. But if Sadiq hits and hits his ceiling, you're talking about like McBride for Arizona, right? You're talking about an impact tight end like Kelsey and Kittle. Like imagine he hits the ceiling, and I mean, nobody argues or says you need to have a wide receiver over a guy like Kelsey or over a guy like Kittle. These are impact, high needle moving playmakers. So Sadiq, I honestly believe can be, and if he hits the ceiling, can be that playmaker. And even though it comes at 16, it might be in place of a tight end or some other position you really want. If he becomes that level of player, you're not going to care and complain later on. No one's going to complain and say, if he hits the ceiling, no one's going to say, yeah, but 16, we could have. You're just going to be happy that we got him.
Yeah. Hey, and you could say, hey, he was drafted later than Bowers. He was drafted later than Warren and Loveland, but also like, let me highlight this tweet for you. Cause I mean, we all saw the 40 that was insane 4.39. But let me just say, man, he reached a max speed of 23 mile an hour. And guess what? That's the same exact top speed that Jahmyr Gibbs ran. Is that not insane, dude? Like insane.
Dude, he's like, I mean, look, I'm okay with any. I'm not calling anybody crazy or anything. If you don't want him at 16, if you're a person who maybe if one of the top 3 receivers is there, whatever it is, if you don't want him at 16, that's fine. I'm not judging anybody. I'm not going to insult anybody. But if you sit there and say they suck, fire Mooj, and they're terrible, and this is a joke organization because they pick Kenyon Sadiq at 16, then I'm going to have a problem with you. Like, I'm going to have a problem with any Jet fan that's going to be angry over it. Really, really is going to piss me off. Like, it's okay to say that's not the guy you would take, but you cannot be. I don't understand how you could watch football and be upset if Sadiq becomes a New York Jet. And I'll leave it at that. He's special.
Do you think he could be Kyle Pitts?
Anybody
Can I
could,
be Kyle Pitts?
right? Remember the Trevor Lawrence sweepstakes and the tanking, and we were all mad. And not that, like, Trevor Lawrence is kind of like Kyle Pitts. He's like, oh, he's good. He came out of his shell. He's looking good, but he's not what we all thought he was going to be. We thought Pitts and both of those players in their respective positions we thought were going to be generational, and they weren't. So you never know. You never know 100%. That's why I always say if he hits his ceiling, because you never 100% know. I do feel that Sadiq is pretty safe. Yeah. Like, his floor to me is he just won't be special, but he'll still be a really good receiving tight end. He just might not, like, his floor would be, he's not Kelsey, he's not special.
What's troubling about tight ends, man, is like you could be a great tight end and just not be targeted by either the quarterback that doesn't see you, or you're not used enough. I mean, look at Isaiah Likely. Like, that dude should be cooking in the league, and he's seldom targeted. He seldom gets out there. When he does, he cooks. I'm not saying that, but what, like, tight end just is so target dependent. I think Sadiq was he had that as a problem in NCAA. Like, when he was targeted, he was magnificent. And then all of a sudden, Oregon receivers got healthy again. Like, at first they were healthy. He was invisible. They got hurt. He carried them and made spectacular catches. And then they came back and he kind of fell off again. It's like, every time this guy gets a target, he makes plays. That's what you need to focus on. Don't look at the box score, because that's what people see, the box score. Oh, yeah, he only had this many yards and this many games played, man. Look at the touchdowns, and look at him. Like, look at the speed he just ran and the athleticism he just displayed. He will be what you want him to be. And if you're taking him at 16, that means you're going to force feed him, and you ought to. I've seen mocks with him going 9 to Kansas City, and I've seen mocks with him falling all the way to 33 to us. Big difference, but
you want to talk about matchup? If you watch Loveland's for Chicago at the end of the year for the last few games and their playoff run, he became a very serious problem for the other team because they couldn't match up against him. Can you imagine what kind of matchup this guy's going to be?
Correct.
Because this guy's got that. He's got that size, that freaking athleticism, and he's got a lot more speed. So it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. You can't. It's going to be so hard to match up against this guy. You line him up in a 12 personnel. He steps out a little into the slot. Who are you covering him with? Corners are too small. Maybe the best safeties in the league have a chance. The best. If you happen to have a Kyle Hamilton or whatever it is, maybe you have a chance. Very few safeties. If you put a linebacker on him, good luck with that. You know what I mean? So he's going to be a very serious problem in the NFL for defenses, I promise you.
I think he goes top 20.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised at all.
No, I mean, especially when you've seen the way people are taking tight end, the top tight end in the top 20. I don't think he is, aside from that at all, or, separate from that. Let me ask you this, because I do have a screen grab here. I want to get your thoughts on Dom C's projected top 10 as of 2 days ago, midway through the combine. Can you speak on this for a moment? Give me your thoughts. I will be right back.
Okay. I like this. I while I am concerned about Bailey, and I like Reese better because I'm afraid Bailey might be Will McDonald on steroids. I don't want a pass rush specialist only. I am not stuck in that. I do believe there's a chance, a good possibility that Bailey can develop and be a run stopping edge, like outside linebacker, and get really good at it. He showed improvement his last year. He played every down. He wasn't terrible at it. It's just hard for me to get my arms around it because Reese is just so there already. Like, the problem with Reese is obviously box score wise, the production's not there, right? Sonny Styles had more sacks than Reese. But it's all about how you use a guy and how Ohio State used him, what he did. It's like maybe he didn't have a high volume of sacks as a number, but when you watch the games and watch the film and you watched what he did when he went after the passer, his explosiveness is terrifying. He is powerful, strong, and fast, explosive. He gets to the line. When he breaks free, he closes space to the quarterback so quickly. He's so special. So Arvell Reese is special. Bailey, I will not cry and scream if they take him because he's going to be an absolute problem pass rush. There's no question about it. My only concern is he going to be all three downs? When he plays first, second down, is he going to be effective against the run? When you pick a guy at number 2, second overall in the entire draft, you don't want a one-dimensional player. He better be able to stop the run and make some plays. So I'm okay with Bailey because Bailey I could very easily see being a terror in the league, like a top 4 edge in the league, that gets that magical 16, 17 sacks, whatever you want to call it. Sonny Styles I could see him at 2. So why not to Tennessee? It'd be a little surprised if Saleh did that, but hey, he liked Fred Warner. Right? So he appreciates a middle linebacker. Tate going to the Giants, that Neighbors and Tate together, I could see what them wanting to create. That would be an interesting direction for them to go, especially with their head coach, because he didn't do that for Lamar Jackson. So that would be a different approach for him. I'm going to go, I guess Cleveland needs offensive line. That makes sense. Washington taking Lemon would be, I love Lemon. So Bain, surprised he went that far back. Perfect for New Orleans. They'd be salivating, right? Because they play a 4-3, I believe. So they'd be very happy with him. Love for Kansas City is a perfect fit. And Mahomes needs someone to take the pressure off of him. And Downs at 10 is the steal. It might be the best, might be the steal of the draft. So I love this I have no argument whatsoever with this. This is just somebody who I know is really good at analysis, who puts a lot of hours in, who understands the players, he understands the teams, and this looks very, very strong and realistic to me.
I thought so too. I'm not going to lie. If there is a pick on this top 10 that you would disagree with the most, can you highlight it? Let me start it off. I think the Giants could go so many different directions if this top 4 were to go this way. I wonder if they wouldn't toy with Jeremiah Love there. Am I crazy?
Oh, that's funny that you said that. I don't think you're crazy. Jeremiah Love is not crazy. Whoever picks him is not crazy. I actually though have the Giants go, and it's really not crazy because of who the head coach is. Right? What kind of team was Baltimore?
Yes.
Right. But Baltimore didn't go crazy high for running backs. They found them other ways. I think that the Giants might take Downs. I think the Giants need help in their backfield, right? In the back part of their defense.
Do you think in this scenario that Bain would fall all the way to 8?
I think it could happen. I think it could happen based on when you think about positional need and and what people are valuing. Washington taking Lemon makes all the sense in the world, wanting to help that young quarterback. He had a tough sophomore year. His second year he struggled. They, banged up a little bit. He could use Lemon, man. That would really help that quarterback. That would really help that offense bounce back this year. It's hard to argue with that pick. It's a smart pick. They don't have to take him. They could take the other wide receiver, Tyson, and it would make just as much sense to me. But I'm a Lemon guy, so I love it. Like for them, I would love it for them. I think that it's a brilliant move for them for that. If I'm a Washington Commander fan, I love that pick. I'm super
If
happy.
there was a pick you had to highlight where it's like, okay, I don't know, Dom. I'm putting your feet to the fire. You got to pick one, Chaos.
It's Tate because they have Neighbors coming back healthy. I don't think it's a terrible pick. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying Giants it's a bad pick. I would just say it's a surprising pick. It's a surprise. It's not super surprising because they have a young quarterback. Again, you want to help your quarterback. So I understand it. If the Giants took Tate, I get it. They got Jackson Dart. It makes total sense that they want to have Neighbors and Tate. You can't give a young quarterback too many weapons. You can't. I get it. It's totally a fine pick. I have no argument to it. But it is a little bit of a surprise only because of the head coach, just and where he came from.
Yeah.
And when I look at, I think that he's gonna want to. They have a great player in Burns. They got Abdul Carter. They got a really good guy. Some guys on that line, but they need help in that back end.
Yeah.
They really need help in safety. I mean, so it just feels like it's such a perfect pick if you put Caleb Downs there. But if they decide to go Tate, they're not stupid.
No.
Nobody's stupid for taking. No one's stupid for taking Tate.
And Dom C is not stupid for putting Tate there. Like let's all like. I just want to say this. Like, for any one of these draft slots you identify, there's literally half a dozen guys you could plug in and be justified doing it. Like, we get so hung up on this pecking order that's going to happen, and these guys should go 1 to 5, and these guys should go 5 to 10. When the draft kicks off, man, like, the Jets could have 6 choices. The Cardinals could have 6 choices. Tennessee could have 6. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, this could be the top 10, but it also might not. Like, there might be other guys that are more prior. Like, don't think if these other guys creep into this top 10 that that's a bad pick. Just because we've seen this top 10 all off season doesn't mean it needs to be in order for it to be justified. If the Jet,
Easily. Like Lemon might not be top 10. Like we don't know that, right? We don't know that at all. I think it's a bold pick for Dom C. That's my most surprising one, that he has Lemon up there and not Tyson.
Yeah. I wonder if he saw his interviews before making this. Because Lemon was pretty odd, if you ask me, in his interviews, but at least the ones we saw, let me put it that way.
I love him, man. I don't care. I love
yeah,
him.
that matters most. A super chat, and then I want to throw it to you, Chaos, and see if you have a new direction to spin it. But Carlos chimes in. He says $2. What Arvel Reese line? Okay, Arvel Reese at 2. I need help. What do you think this means?
Bailey at 16. He's saying, what if we took Reese and Bailey was still there at 16? I do it. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Let's make that very clear. Bailey is going top 5, right? Like top 6, whatever. It's not going to happen unless he gets arrested for something. Gets caught like freaking smoking crack. Like he would have to. Like, it's just not going to happen, right? But if you want to give me like a hypothetical analysis and say you already took an edge, would you take an edge there at 16, even though you might not need it or whatever, because you just took Reese? And does that make any sense? For Bailey, yes, of course.
Okay.
I would take Bailey. If he was there at 16, I would run to the podium as fast as I can, and I'd be hyperventilating to take
this
Bailey.
might be I don't want to spin this into asking for your big board, but who at 16 would have to be there for you not to take Bailey if he was still sitting there when we were on the clock?
If we already took Reese, Caleb Downs, Sonny Styles. I would take Sonny Styles or Caleb Down over Bailey at 16 if we had already taken
Tate?
Reese.
Yeah,
If we had already taken Reese.
Yeah, Tate.
Would be Tate. I mean, flip a coin, man. I mean, flip a coin. If Tate was up there, but positional need, I feel that we need two edges. It's not, it's not, I'm not sitting here thinking we don't need an edge. Like, I feel like we need two edges anyway. I just think we're going to get one in free agency, and it doesn't have to be, you don't have to, every edge you have on the team doesn't have to be a top 20 pick. Like you're allowed to find fits and decent players that aren't superstars other ways, right? So that's why, but I mean, if Tate and Bailey were on the board at 16, it's either one. I don't care. You just run to the podium and take one. I think that Bailey is the smarter one as far as available, because I look at it as a 2-year rebuild, and I feel like every year there are these wide receivers, and we're gonna have 3 number 1 picks next year, and there's always number 1 wide receivers. But Bailey there might not be another opportunity for that. You know what I mean? And I don't care that we just took Reese. I mean, Reese and Bailey together is just ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. They don't hit their ceiling. It's disgusting. It's going to be, we'd be amazing. Our defense would turn around so fast.
I don't even want to give my take on this. I just want to ask you, what are the odds Bailey is there at 16?
Oh, less than right now, unless something happens.
0.
Really? Honestly, 1 in 1,000, like 0.001. 0.001.
That's why.
No,
I
really.
know. That's why.
There's no.
I would give a take on this, but I just can't. You did it justice though. You earned the $2. But Bailey, I'm sorry, man, he's not going to be there unless something happens. Like you said, he's got that smoke mask on and he's smoking weed and viral or some shit.
The reason I would tilt towards Bailey over Tate, even though we took Reese, it'd be because we don't have a quarterback yet, right? We're gonna have one eventually, but if we don't solve quarterback, if we pick and it's the wrong one, let's say we take Simpson, he bombs, right? Then Tate it loses the value of your wide receiver because they're dependent on a quarterback.
We just saw it happen. Right.
He's coming in with Garrett Wilson. You're going to have Tate and Garrett Wilson. If you don't have a quarterback, but Bailey's not going to depend on anything. You know what I mean? Like, Bailey is like, it doesn't matter. Like, Bailey's just on the field. He's going to be Bailey. Like, he's going to give you what he gives you. So that would be my argument. When, I want another wide receiver, because when we do eventually find that quarterback, I want him to have weapons, but understand, if it doesn't work out, we pick wrong, or the quarterbacks we pick don't work, it's going to be really hard for Tate to make an impact on this team the way Bailey would.
No, I'm with you. You. I think a lot of people want to take Reese for that same reason, not for the reason of if you whiff on a quarterback, not that, but it's more like regime proof, defensive scheme proof. He'll fit in anywhere. I'm with that because who knows? Maybe this regime is gone next year. But also, I like what you're saying. You take a receiver now and then you whiff on a quarterback next year. By the time you get a competent quarterback in, this guy is off his rookie deal pretty much. I mean, look, it took us 5 years to draft someone after Zach in the first round. And look what happened to Garrett. I mean, we whiffed and then
he's being
good.
Yeah, Garrett's being wasted.
Yes.
Garrett's being wasted.
Yes.
He's being wasted. He really is. It's amazing, that
it's not that he is being wasted, but the value of him being on his rookie deal was wasted. Yeah. That's the value, is to have them be elite and paid nothing. So I am with you on waiting on a receiver. It's kind of why I like Sadiq, because I think any quarterback you trot out there, hey, you know what? If you're going weapon, I think Sadiq is quarterback proof. I think he is regime proof. But at the same time, you got to extend him. He's not going to cost you $30 million a year, if that makes sense. But at the same time, let's just not go weapon and let's shore up the defense and go from there. Boss Girl is joining us. You know what? I've been waiting on her to join us because she made so many jokes this past month, Chaos, about, you know what? Hey, if you're a duck, Dana wants you. Well, guess what, Jeremy? These ducks, they ducked this week, man. We already talked Sadiq, Boss
Look,
Girl. You got to rewind it.
there's
We talked
there's
Sadiq. How about Thieneman, who most of us wanted at 44, now is long gone by 44. The Ducks have had 3 guys run sub 4.4 this week. Malik Benson, the other one. Leak is a good wide receiver. You might get him on a steal with Chris Bell. But yeah, Chaos, what do you make of the I don't know how to spin this. You know what? The Combine Warriors.
the combine work. You know what the combine means to me? The combine is just gives you some extra data, right? Because I don't think it's so important for like the top picks, right? Like I don't think that it moves the needle much. It gets you more excited. It might have a little shifting, right? Like Sonny Styles is now, after that combine, no way he goes out of the top 10. That's a fact, right? Whereas beforehand, people had him going out of the top 10. So there are a little bit of changes, but I think that the combine is more for the picks 30 to 150 or 200. You know what I mean? And a lot of it is about just they play for different teams against different competition. And it's very hard sometimes. That's why you can't just look at box scores, because everybody people play in different systems on different teams against different levels of competition. The combine, like the Senior Bowl, is one of these opportunities where you bring them together where there's no advantage, right? They're playing alongside each other, and you get to see how they look next to each other against other good competition. The combine allows you to look at them, even the measurements. The arms are so important because it's like the numbers don't lie. Numbers don't lie. If you have under 32-inch wingspan as an offensive lineman, as a tackle, you're much less likely to be successful in the NFL statistically. It's just a fact. Doesn't mean you can't be. You have to be an outlier. So it's something to be concerned about. So if you're a freaking cornerback and you put in a 4.9 or a 5.1 running, then that's going to be a concern, because maybe forever you played, it worked in your league at your level for your team, but it's not going to work in the NFL, right? So I think you get some information on players in the combine, but when you look at a guy like Sonny Styles, Arvell Reese, Bailey, Mendoza, you're not going to see a big change because these guys are in top schools playing against top programs and putting the film there, and you see what it looks like on film.
True. The jury is out on them. But if you're teetering on the fence, different story, right?
Yeah, like Michael Trigg, right? It's a tight end that I love. Plays for Baylor. I love him. I like him like I liked Harold Fannin last year. I loved Harold Fannin, okay? And he looked like he's going to be an okay tight end for Cleveland. But here's the thing about this player. The problem with him is he plays for Baylor, Michael Trigg, right? So what's the competition? What is he playing against, right? So then you get him in the combine, and he starts to shine when he's with the other tight ends. Every time everything he's doing is turning heads. He probably moved up 20 spots in the draft. I think Trigg went from in the 70s to now he's going to be in the 50s because of the combine. So that's an example, because the combine put him next to all those other tight ends where everything is being equal, and you're looking at the athleticism and saying, oh, maybe it doesn't matter that it was just at Baylor. Look at him. Like, look what he can do. Look at his speed. Look at his agility. This guy is going to be able to do it against any level. So that's how I look at the combine. It's kind of like adding sugar to coffee, right? Good coffee is good coffee, you know. But like sometimes you want it in a real life situation. Like let's put a little sugar in these coffees and see how it reacts to that. Does it hold out in its flavor? You know, that's what the combine is.
Quick hitter for you, Chaos. Are you a trans?
Is that
I don't
directed to
know,
me?
but I'm gonna answer too. So you first. You first.
Uh,
Okay.
no.
Yes. You know what?
I'm
I would like
not.
to
Born, I was born a dude, and I
I
am a
would like
dude.
to officially put it out there, guys. I don't want to blow your minds, but no, I'm not. You know what?
Really?
We are streaming in a landscape mode as we always do, but then we are also streaming in portrait phone mode. And from what I've noticed, everything coming in from the old phone mode is comments like this. So you know, I feel the need to give Droitart, not to be confused with Shart, but Droitart, his moment in the sun, and say no, neither one of us
Yeah.
are. But you know, come on over.
Oh, is this popping up? Is this one of the things where you with your thumb you're scanning up on your phone, and then our heads
Yes,
popped up, and so you have to, and so people spend their whole life putting in comments and stuff,
facts.
and
There,
okay,
you're picking it up.
because that's what makes mommy and daddies very proud when their child is asking people, "Are you a
You want?
trans?" on
Let me double
podcast.
check. No, no, still not. Still not. But yeah, moving right along. Um, Johnny asks Scott, who is an Oregon Duck fan. Scott, Sadiq at 16 and Oregon Duck fan.
So he's asking somebody
Yeah,
else.
Scott says,
Oh,
don't think I
sorry.
would. So I agree. Dude, me and Scott, we love Sadiq, but also like 16 is rich, right? Like I would love him at 20.
Yeah.
Anyways, okay, enough Sadiq talk. Chaos, I teased it. I don't know if I'm totally holding your feet to the fire again, man, but I've entirely steered this hour and 20 minutes. Do you have anything you want to bring up?
Um, um, I'm very confused about the safeties. I don't know what's going to happen, man. There are people that got Emmanuel Warren or Dylan being picked in the top 15, and then there are people that have them at 40. Like so, the most complicated, confusing thing about this draft, I think, the biggest mystery in this draft is the safeties. After Caleb Downs, where are they going to go and when are they going to go? I have people that have that Halsey above Dylan and Emmanuel last, and then there are people that say that by the time we get to pick 33, Halsey might be the only guy, and there are a lot of people who don't like him. So it's a very confusing, weird draft for safety. And I'm wondering, Dom C, if you're out there, get on it, man, and figure this out for us.
I'm with you, man, because like I mean, Thieneman, literally, I thought we could get in the second. Now it's like, who the hell knows? And EMW, as you said, Warren, like he's intriguing as well. Also, I did ask Dom about Thieneman Friday night, and he said that regardless of that speed, that's not something he saw of his on film. So, like, and it's not something I did either. I think Scott would tell you the same thing. Like, some of these guys are just ready for the combine. You know, some of them have probably been running track and field their whole college career just for this moment. I don't know. I'm not saying that Thieneman isn't worthy of a late first round pick, but like a lot of people are putting him in the top 20 now. I can't do that, man. Some people have him going to us at 16. No, I'm not there. I'm not there. Um, and not like it's not the athleticism, it's just the film, you know. But EMW, Thieneman, we need a safety. Let's face it. You know what's sad? Like I'm sitting here thinking, like we have 4 top 50 picks. Man, I want 5. I want 6 of them. We need 6 of them,
I
and we have
know.
4. And I'm
Well, you
complaining.
gotta
Like
trade. No, I mean you got to trade. No, I mean you take 16 and you trade back to 23 or 24, whatever it is, and there you go. That can get you a second and a third, maybe. People are under if there's somebody on the board that somebody really wants, that's the value of that, man. I look at it all the time. The points justify it. You can get a second and a third round pick, or a early fourth round pick and a second round pick for to go back 8 spots, 9 spots. I think you're good at that. You have the chart. I mean, you tell me if
no,
I'm
you're
wrong.
right. You're right. Do you think it's more likely we trade? Well, I think this is easy. More likely we trade back at 16 than 2, right?
Um, I think it's much more likely we trade back 16 than 2, only because I don't think you're going to have a trade partner or two. Because the teams that would trade up with us, because we wouldn't be willing to trade too far down, like the way I always do it is I still stay in the top 7, right? Or whatever it is. Those teams don't need to trade up. They're going to get guys. Like Salah doesn't need to trade up. He's gonna get an edge no matter what he does. Why is he gonna give away his second round pick? Like no, like it just doesn't make sense. But the pick 16 is very different because Mauga, like there's cornerbacks, the tackle Mauga might be there. There are teams, Simpson, some the Steelers or someone might want to trade up and grab Simpson. You just never know. But the point is at 16, our positions aren't on the board. Like if Lemon is gone and Sonny Styles is gone, our guys aren't on the board. But for the teams that need a cornerback, for the teams that need a tackle, it's a very different draft. For the teams that need a defensive tackle and a 4-3, it's a very different. It might be, Peter Woods or whatever his name is, might still be there, right? So there's guys that someone might trade up for with us at 16. It just makes a lot more sense. It's more realistic.
More realistic, I agree. I agree with everything you said, in fact. But I think the better question is if you had to stake your claim, the Jets slide at one of these, and it's 16 or 33. Pick number 1 on day 2. I think that's a much tougher one to narrow down. Can you?
33 is hard to trade down because 33 is such a valuable pick, right? Because there's going to be first round prospects that slip out, and to have that first choice and not be able to not have to worry about losing them. Look, the problem with this with 16 is because it is such a weak. It's not a top heavy. It's such a top heavy draft. It's so extremely top heavy. There's 10 guys, 11 guys. It's so top heavy that I'm answering somebody in the chat that 16 is not that different from 25 if positionally it doesn't make sense. Like, for example, if our guys are gone at 16, we don't want the tackle. We don't want the cornerback, let's say. But at 25, we could still get CJ Allen, let's say, and get that middle linebacker. That's why we want to trade back to that. And then don't forget, it's not so weak. I hate it when it's so lazy when people say, well, it's a weak draft. There's nobody. That's not true. It might not be as strong a draft, but don't tell me there's not guys in the second and third round of this draft. Like, there are guys. There's Basantis, a guard. Parkford, a center. These are third round picks, late second, early third round picks. Don't tell me that's nothing. Getting those extra picks is valuable. We could fill spots with those picks. Like, don't get so carried away with it's not a strong draft. Like, that's just prospecting grades, but that means nothing until you don't know if it's a strong draft until 10 years from now when you look back at the draft. That's when you'll know if it was a strong draft.
Fair. And I'm with you. I am 100% with you. Scott Foster chimes in. He says, so the general consensus is next year's draft will be much stronger. How about trading picks into next year? Where do you draw the line there? Do you have to use your top 50s and then you toy with it? Are you toying with maybe flipping a top 50 into next year?
I love the idea of, instead of second and third round this year, For example, let's say you're going 16 to 25. Give us a second round pick this year and a second round pick next year, because a second round pick next year is the value of a third round pick this year. I have no problem with that. I don't even have a problem with if it's allowed, if you're trading down to a suspect type team like Cleveland, let's say, because they have an extra pick at 24. Let's say you're trading with them. Their third round next year is like a late second round, really, right? So you might get the same guy you wanted, right? So in the second round, so I don't have any problem with that. It's not a bad strategy. Everybody gets so into getting everything you can now. We're not winning the Super Bowl. We're not. It's a 2-year rebuild.
It is.
So if someone offers you a bunch of picks for next year, it's not. I'm not saying you have to do it. I'm not screaming for them to do it, but it's not a horrible thing.
Well,
it's not a horrible thing because they're projecting it's going to be very strong.
Unless
next year I'll be good. No, I'm not saying trade everything for next year. But if somebody makes you an offer, you can't refuse.
Well, let me ask you.
If somebody makes you an offer,
you talked about it.
Somebody at 25.
Yeah. Well, what if that's
somebody at 25?
That's easy.
Number one next year.
Chaos. That I agree, but I do feel like that's an easy answer. I think Scott's more of a mind to like, would you flip any trades into next year and get nothing now? Just improve a 2 into being a 1. Just improve a 4 into being a 3. Is there any world where you can spin that and say, hey, Aaron Glenn, I'm not fucking you. I'm just taking away a pick and I'm giving it to the next guy or maybe you?
But that's the problem with having a coach on a hot seat. And the coach has equal power to the GM. That's the problem. I did a video on it. People attack me for it. You're making up a problem that doesn't exist. No, that's the problem. That's the problem. When you don't have hierarchy, that's the problem. The problem is that AG needs to win now. So you might convince him to take a trade where you get a pick back this year and something for next year. If the pick is still good this year and he's still going to get the guy he wants and he doesn't think it's going to impact this year. But he's not going to screw this year. He's just not, because he knows he has an owner that's very emotional. And like, even if the owner's telling him, even if Woody's telling him, you're okay, you can't trust that. If we're getting humiliated in some games early on next year, you don't know what Woody's going to do. You don't know. So that's the problem. Scott, it might be smart to do what Scott's saying, but it's not going to be for AG is not going to do it though. He needs to get players now. He needs to win some games now. He needs to get buy-in, not only for his job, but to get buy-in from the locker room. How long are they going to stay believing if you don't start winning some games?
Well, you just got to have the opposing team call when AG is taking a nap, and I think you can pull it off.
Yeah, and the problem is that Mooj can't override AG. They're equal power. You'll get in, it'll start a war, like it'll be a disaster for us. Like if AG comes and says there's no way we're trading these picks into next year, and Mooj says, well, I'm the GM and I am, we're going to have a serious problem in our front office, like a really serious problem, because there's no hierarchy. They both report to Woody, so now you got two guys in the office screaming at Woody.
No, I'm with you.
Mood screaming, I care about the future, and Aaron Glenn saying, no, we have to win some games now. I can't. We got to win these. We're going to lose the locker room.
I don't think it becomes an argument until you are talking about them top 50 picks. After that, man, we have like one pick the next 200, like give or take 30. Like, I don't think it care. Like, I don't care if you're flipping a 5 to be a 4. Like, I really don't. But if you're flipping a 2 to be a 1, or you're sliding from a 2 to be a 3, and then something next year only, I think I got a problem there, or they would have a problem there. Day 3, I could care less. If you want to flip one into be a day 2 next year, awesome, perfect.
Oh yeah.
But
if you could turn 103 into a second round pick.
Oh
next
my
year.
God, yes, dude. Yep.
The the problem is, and I trust Mooj more than AG also, but that's not the point. There's no hierarchy. It doesn't matter that we trust Mooj more. It doesn't matter. The problem is, and I'm worried that this could happen. Like when you have a coach on the hot seat and the GM that's not on the hot seat, you might have World War III take place in our front office because their motivations are going to change.
What do you make of the what do you make of the people who say that the hot seat is a projection of fans and not even a real thing?
I don't see how it could not be a real thing. Like based on because we know Woody, right? And he gets embarrassed. He fired Salah because he was embarrassed in London in front of his friends or whatever, right? He was so mad that we lost in London. So it's unpredictable, right? We know that he's unpredictable. Like he sticks with coaches and he gives them a long time, right? So Salah was the first one that he fired like that. And even that, it wasn't like he fired him within the first year. Right. So it's not like he doesn't, it's not like he has a reputation for firing coaches right away. But you got to think that Woody is under more pressure to win some games than Mooj is, right? If you had to say which one's more likely to get fired if we start the season 0-5, Mooj or AJ?
And that I think is where I want to go. It's not what I don't think AG is on the hot seat now. Might be a hot take. I know you listen to some and it is a hot take. I don't think he is now. But
you think he could 3-14?
That's where I'm going. I think as time progresses and losses mount up, I think we're right there, man. So Bosco, I know where you're coming from. I don't think I think at this point Woody could think that AG is going to finish out his 5-year deal. I'm not going to lie, but dude, hard year. We just had a hard ass year, man. Maybe one of the hardest we've had. If you have another one, boom, gone. I think it can spiral fast is what I'm trying to say. And I think hold on, let me finish my take. I think where Woody is now, damn you, Woody, because you got me saying Woody for Woody and Woody for anyways, where Woody is now, I think is flimsy. That's all I'm trying to say. Like another season of losses like we just had, man, shit changes. So do I think he's on a hot seat right this moment? No, but I think he can get there faster than the next season finishes.
And that's my point. Look, the truth is there might be no way he could lose his job. Woody might already have an agreement with him. You are safe. I know what you're doing. I'm in on the plan. It's a future thing. This is a multi-year rebuild. We're not going to let you go. He might say all that stuff, and I don't know that. All we know is what we know. And what we know is it's not predictable. We don't know. So we have to assume, if you're going to make any assumption, you have to assume that Aaron Glenn is under more pressure to win. He just went 3-14. He's under pressure to win. Of course he is. He's under so much pressure. They're scrutinizing him. He's getting in trouble for everything. Of course he's under pressure to win, right? Not that Mooj isn't. Not that Mooj isn't under pressure to win, but we know that Aaron Glenn definitely is. I mean, I think I could be wrong, but I think the consensus would be, the feel would be, who's more likely to lose their job if we're 0-5 in the middle of next year, if we finish the year with 3 or 4 wins? Who's more likely? Maybe them both. Maybe they both go. But if only one went, who would it be? Would they keep Aaron Glenn and fire the GM? I mean, so my point is just, and it's not the only reason. The other reason that Aaron Glenn would probably fight against trading our picks into 27 is also because, and people don't value this, and I really don't care, because it does matter, no matter what anybody says. You have to hold on to your players, man. Like, you have to keep them believing. Have you ever played on a team before? If you're losing year after year, that's who you become. Like, he has to show some improvement so the players believe. That actually matters. And if somebody doesn't understand that, I can't teach that or explain that. I know it from my time in high school sports even. I know it. You have to they have to show some progress for the psyche, for the mentalness of the players.
You know what I will say though, and I agree with you. I do. Like, what I will say is I was shocked, effing shocked, to see those report card grades drop. Let's go there. What did you think when
Yeah.
you saw those drop? Because I thought to myself one clear, distinct thing, and that's, well, damn. The fan base has AG pegged wrong because the players inside that locker room like him and they trust him and they believe in him. They gave him an A. They gave Woody Johnson a B. So, I don't know there. But what did you make of that? What did you make of the players, past and present? I mean, the ones here last year, grading Aaron Glenn as an A coach.
It means that you can't trust what you read in the media. That's why I don't know for sure that AG is even in trouble and wouldn't have 4 years, because and I admit that, because the media is always, how many times it's been proven right sometimes, but for the most part, they're so wrong. Remember, Garrett Wilson doesn't want to be here. Remember that one? And people were saying it like it was fact. Garrett Wilson does not want to be here. He will not sign. That's what people were saying. He's miserable. He wants to leave. That's what people were saying. And they're saying the same thing about Brees in the offseason. Well, if he was to sign an extension, right, then what are those people going to say then? Are they going to come in and say I was wrong? Like, players don't want to play here, right? Ty Simpson. The first thing he says to Jake Asman is, I want to play for the Jets. Jets, Jets. Like, it's just all lies. People just make things up. They just make stuff up. Oh, Arch Manning wouldn't want to play for the Jets. Because why? Because Eli didn't want to play for the Chargers. That was because there was a family issue with the owner of the San Diego Chargers. It had nothing to do with the Chargers being a bad team. They actually had a really good roster. It would have been a great place for Eli Manning to end up. It was because of a personal thing. It has nothing to do with the Jets. There's no article out there, nothing factual, that says that Arch Manning Sr. has any problem with Woody Johnson. And anybody that says there is lying and making it up. And yet I see it all the time. People make things up. So this report card is just more proof about the fantasy that's out there on YouTube and on Twitter and all these apps. It's a fantasy. We don't know anything. Unless you see it, unless you have factual proof, unless there are videos of it, believing these media people is ridiculous. Everything we say are opinions and takes. At least we admit it.
I'm with you. I will say though, like, not only did it cast doubt into all the narratives that have been publicized the last 9 months, and I think that's the best way I could say it. It casts doubt into all the narratives. The Athletic, Diana Rossini, Zach Rosenblatt, blah 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 blah. This also, like, even just me, I don't believe half that shit, but I still didn't think it'd be an A. So kudos to Glenn, because I mean we hear Harrison Phillips talk out, and yeah, we want to get hung up on the cancerous and the truculent, but like, he's also spoken a lot at length at the bond that this locker room has and all that. And I think that is where we should hang our hat. They're still together. I hate it because we said that about Salah's teams, man, so many times, is, oh, we had a losing season and they still didn't fall apart. I hate to champion that. But at the same time, this season was even worse. So I am going to champion it a little bit, and say, hey, man, he's in elite company with that A grade. I will say that. Chaos, let me show you this. It's the rest of our report card. And I want to ask you what sticks out to you about it.
Let me look. It's that food and dining area thing, man, with the B that I can't get over. They're in New Jersey. There's no excuse for that, man. There is no excuse. No excuse. If they want to turn that to an A, I'm available. I swear to God, I could turn that food dining room area into an A area where the players will be very happy. And I'm not saying, I'm not only feeding them junk, man. I'll get them healthy food, but I promise you, it ain't going to be no B. It's not going to be a B. I'm going to get to whatever food they eat, they will eat well. So I'll start with that.
Subscribe to
But
Brooklyn Brothers Food Review on YouTube for all your culinary needs. Go ahead, Chaos. You got anything else when you look at this?
but I will say this. I will say that this doesn't completely correlate to their performance in their job, right? But it's also true. So it's true. Doesn't make Aaron Glenn a good coach because he got an A minus, right? Doesn't make him or an A. Doesn't make him a good coach, right? But it's one thing. It's one box of many boxes. It's better than if he got a C or a D. Because if he got a C or a D, what that would tell us is they don't believe in him. They think he's a clown. The fact that they're giving him that grade, at least that gives us hope that they believe in him. He might still be a terrible coach. It doesn't mean he's not a terrible coach. It doesn't mean he's better than what we saw. But at least the players seem to like and respect him. So they'll give him the chance to be a real coach. They're not going to defy him or ignore him, hopefully. What it means is he's a strict guy. He seems strict. He seems no bullshit guy. He doesn't get, and yet they don't think he's an asshole. They don't hate him. They don't seem to be turning on him. I guess, just because it doesn't mean he's a good coach, we could at least appreciate that it's not another loss for us. Because how humiliating would it be if it was a D?
What let me ask you, scrolling down the list, I don't know how far down you made it, but what do you make of the OC and DC listed here? Their grades.
I'm not surprised that Wilkes did okay. Sauce Gardner made a whole big comment about it after he got fired from the Colts, like saying a lot of people don't know what's going on there because he really liked Wilkes. But again, it doesn't correlate. Being popular is different than being good. It's nice to not be hated, fine, but it doesn't mean you're good. And I think that's the evidence. I mean, we know that Aaron Glenn did not have a good year as a head coach. And we know that Wilkes didn't, and yet we're seeing that their grades weren't bad by the player report card, which is a lot of strong evidence that there's not really a strong argument that there's a correlation between being popular with the players and being good at your job. That's what we see.
Agreed. And then lastly, I got to set the weight room aside. I know that's a very big talking point. Well, let's just table that for now. Let me ask you about team ownership there at the bottom, Chaos.
He probably stopped meddling. He probably didn't get involved as much. That's what I think. I think that he probably got a low grade because, first of all, you got to assume half the team was pissed off the way he fired Saleh. Right? Because every coach is going to have the guys that love him and the guys that don't like him and the guys in the middle that don't care. So when he fired Saleh, you know that a big portion of the Jets locker room hated his guts for doing that. So if you don't think that, you think maybe that could be, part of his grade. that why he got the bad grade, from 2 seasons ago, because he fired their head coach, and maybe some people actually liked the head coach, so they were pissed at him and said this is a shit show. So that's how I would explain that. Now he didn't get involved; he stayed away, so there was no reason to give him a bad grade. People didn't have it, they just didn't have anything against him, and and he probably still, that B represents that some people probably gave him, because it's an average, some probably gave him a low grade because they were leftover and they're still pissed at him for the Saleh thing.
Yeah, I do think that. I also think that GM probably is the same thing. I think that there's one or two that probably gave him an F for trading their buddy Sauce Gardner, or trading their buddy, Quincy Williams. How is he filling out what he thinks the general manager is doing? Come on, man. Like, Brees Hall, what is he filling out? What he thinks of Muji? So for Muji to get an A minus, I think is astounding when you consider some of the quote. I'm not saying malcontents. I won't, but like people that had a vested interest in this locker room staying together, whether they like it or not. For the fact that he still got an A minus, I think is illuminating. I'll say that. That's how I would describe it. Illuminating. I think it's illuminating that their locker room is an A minus, special teams is an A, head coach is an A, general manager is an A minus. Like, that's huge, man. That's great. That is awesome.
I mean, it's what it's nice to have something we didn't fail, that we're not going to be humiliated about or have to hear shit about, right? It's not making me think, oh, AG really is a great coach. Okay, fine, but it's also not making me think, oh, here we go. Now we have to hear how the players hate him, and that would have been just tireless hours of people saying they hate the coach, they hate him, get rid of him. Why is he here? They don't even like him. Like, at least we don't have to hear more.
We have
negative.
fodder to
You know?
we have this we can throw back at them, because honestly, it tells me that yes, we didn't win. We did not win, man. We lost gloriously, quote unquote. We lost terribly, however you want to spin it, but it it doesn't mean we are at year zero still. It just means that, hey, man, maybe it's not translating yet. That's where I'm going. Like, maybe it's not as bad as we think, and we just need to wait it out. And I know most of us have no wicks for waiting it out, and that's on us. I mean, it's on them, but it's also on us. Like, I think this team will be much better in 2 months. I think it'll be much better in 6 months, in 9 months, in 12 months, in 15 months. And, we just are impatient, man. We're not trying to wait that long. And that's the rub. Like, you got to be okay with seeing it through. And I think most of us aren't. So, maybe this placated us a bit. I think it did for me, because it tells me that it's not we're not at the same place we were 12 months ago. I think we're better than we were 12 months ago.
If we bring in any competency at quarterback, I think we'll see a better football team than we did last year. That's not a high bar, but I think it's going to be a lot better than people are behaving. Like, the anger, the feeling of shit crappiness. I think that we're going to be a lot better than that if we just have a competent quarterback, because we're going to bring in more better defensive players. Right? We were starting guys, the Clark brothers, like the guys we were starting on defense those last 6 or 7 games. Come on, man. There were guys off the street playing, dude. Like, it's not going to be that bad when we get, like, that's not going to be what it is, right? We're going to draft better defensive players. We're going to sign a couple of better defensive players. If we have a competent quarterback, it's going to look different. I'm not saying we're going to be a playoff team or a great team or anything like that, but we will be better than what we saw. We're going to be better. And I agree with you. I think people are going to see and realize
I think
that.
the roster is as poor now than it's been for a few years, and also that it will be for a few years. I think this is the bottom of how good the roster looks. You just got to wait for free agency. You got to wait for the draft. You have to, but it will look better. Jordan,
and then most of the season. Like the way they play.
Chaos, I got to throw a rapid fire trivia at you. I have a super chat I'm going to get to, but I want to ask you, can you name either one of the Clark brothers?
One of them was Dean.
Yes.
Dean Clark. And the other was, what was the other one? I don't know. Ryan Clark?
It started with a J.
Oh, why was I thinking Ryan Clark? Dean Clark and Jay, the one that was the son of the broadcaster, right? Or is that?
I don't know which is which, but I do know both their first names.
What's the J one?
Chat, let us know. Chaos, as those chats filter through. Jordan
Clark. Okay. You know how bad I am with names, and man, I just called them the Clark brothers. I would sit there with Green Bean. Oh, with you. I was sitting there with you, reacting to the games on Green Bean Channel, saying the freaking Clark brothers are back.
Jordan, yeah. There, the chat's finally catching up to us. Jordan, Jets fan 2405 had it. We coined that together, I believe, the Clark brothers, because we were like, who are these guys?
How are they?
All right. super chat as we're winding down, guys. We got about 8 minutes left. Spike that like button. There is still 30 watching us, Chaos. 26 on the regular view, and we got 4 in the troll view, I should start calling it. Um, Scott chimes in.
For people who didn't just
Yeah. Hey, thank you for not swiping past us in all our glory. But Scott,
now tap.
yeah, double tap it. That's a good call. Double tap it, and that likes the stream. It means next time our ugly mugs are on, you will get us even more, and you'll love it. So double tap. Um, Scott chimes in $2 super chat. He says, maybe Woody didn't cancel the food trucks this year, Chaos. What do you think of that as a possibility for the better grade?
It would make an impact with me. If I was working for a place and I had to rate my boss and everything, and it was a year where they canceled food trucks, I would give them an F. I'd be pissed. And then the next year, if they didn't and the food trucks were there, it would be a much better grade.
Is there any, and I love that, by the way, but is there anything that I might have missed? Long week, man. We lost Jermaine. We traded for Sweat. We had a whole combine of shit. We had Glenn being a superhero. We had Glenn falling asleep. Is there anything that we didn't touch on enough, or is there? Oh, you know what? We had. Let me see if I can grab this. We had Robbie Sabo at the Oh wait, that's actually our OC Frank Reich at the combine, looking at the quarterbacks and wide receivers. But yeah, is there anything I might have missed or anything like that?
I don't think so.
Do you? Yeah, I don't know, man. What do you make of the Ty Simpson? I know, right? It's all in the eyebrows. That does look like Robbie Sabo, doesn't it? I mean, a little bit. Silver Fox. We have it as OC. I didn't see him until skill position day, which is interesting. Yeah. So, what are the odds that we leave day 2 with no skill position player?
I don't know, 20%. I would be surprised. I would be surprised.
Yeah.
4 picks, and this guy's the CEO of the offense. Like, he's in charge of the offense. It would be a surprise to me if we did. I think out of the 4 picks, I expect a minimum of 1.
You know what's nice? Day 3, when that cracks. I mean, we talked about it. Day 2 cracks open. Got the Jets flying off. That's number 1. Day 3, when that cracks open, we're pick number 3 on the board then. So
then we're done.
We're what?
And then we're done for a long time.
Correct. After being done for a while on night 2, I'm not gonna lie.
Right. Our nights, the 3 days of the draft are all very early days for us. Like, in the first round, very early, and then in the middle. The day 2, it's like boom, and then we're done. And then it's going to be very exciting each day when we turn on the TV, and then we're going to get bored real fast afterwards.
I don't know what you have planned, sir, but this will be year number 3 in the Danger Zone, live streaming the NFL draft. You have an open invite, sir. Whether you want to chime in after the picks, before the picks, during, however you want to do it. Just know if you're listening to us now, that we will be live all 3 days. Dude, it killed me last year, but I am inviting it this year again. because guess what? In May or June, I'm taking a month off, baby. So let's talk Jets until there's nothing to talk anymore. Yeah, Chaos. I know you were bouncing around last year. If you want to do that again, man, would love it. Would love it.
I'll be bouncing around. I would imagine if as long as I'm in. I don't know about night one because I might actually physically be in New Jersey. We'll see. But the other 2 days, or if I don't and I'm here, then I will surely be bouncing around.
Love it, man. Love it. All right. We are at an hour, 57 minutes. Chat's still popping. I can't always go by that, or else they'd keep me here till 2 a.m. So let's get them aside for a moment. Let me pass it to you, sir. As we sit here, March 1st, mind you, heavy week of Jets news. We just talked a whole bunch of ball, but the problem is not all these people have been in here the whole time, and not any, anything you want to just drive home for the fan base on what they need to be feeling, thinking, or maybe not how they need to be, but like anything you could coax them through this process. A lot of pessimistic people out there, man. But we are here on March 1st. So Mike's on you, man. What say you?
I don't know, man. I would say, let's wait until we get to June 1st and look at the roster. Let's look at the 90, and then we'll wait until the summer, and then at the end of the summer we'll look at the 53. But it's gonna feel better than it does right now because there'll be answers, right? And I mean, if we don't get the right quarterback, the people who don't, whatever, if we get whoever the quarterback is, there can be people very unhappy. But remember, that's not I mean, it's probably, I'm assuming it's not going to be the quarterback for the long-term future. So just remember, we just need a quarterback who can be somewhat competent so we can help develop the players and see what we have and play a little bit better. But what I would say is just, hang in there, like just hang in there. We got 5 first-round picks in the next 2 years. And really, I think people who have been around a while know what really has to happen. We have to find our quarterback, because really in this league, in the NFL, if we just have to get over that hump, if we find a way and we just somehow get the quarterback, and it's the right quarterback, everything else is going to feel really easy.
I am with you, sir. Before I close, I want to ask you one final thing. Sorry, I just remembered this was here, but I wanted to ask you. Let's see if I can grab it. Sorry.
Stop. I'm not saying that a quarterback answers all the problems. I mean, like, Jesus Christ, listen to what I'm saying. Get the quarterback and then build a team. I'm not saying a quarterback is going to make us a team. Obviously, a quarterback is not enough. Yeah, I thought a quarterback was enough without any other players. That's what I said, right? I mean, that's what I guess that's what I said. A quarterback is enough. I mean, give me a break. If you don't know that the quarterback, I mean, the quarterback is the thing we need to do. We need a quarterback, and then you build a team around it. But it's all a waste of time if you don't have the quarterback. And if you don't know that, you're beyond help.
He knows it. He's splicing through your monologue there at the end and picking out that one part that rubbed him wrong. Yeah. I'm going to throw you guys both in a room, and you're going to have to decide who comes out. But anyways, final thoughts on this.
Get a camera and a microphone and put his voice out there.
If you don't remember, he was on with you in the Danger Zone last year. I don't know if you remember Scott, but he's the woolly mammoth around here. Nothing rubbed me right. All right. Brees Hall reposted this today. Jeremy, I want to get your final, literally we're closing, but he says, and he's retweeting someone, he says, never cut off what's been good to you for a maybe.
Okay.
If you had to decipher Brees's cryptic retweet, how would you?
That he's saying he's going to stay. That means he's going to stay. Because that means uh he's saying that
Greener
that
pastures.
maybe that's a grass is always greener type of comment. That's how I interpret that.
I agree. Boss Girl says that she interprets it. The deal is done. Um, uh, Johnny Boy saw it. I shared it earlier. He saw that, and I saw him talking about it in the chat. It reminded me. He has reshared or retweeted, I should say, a bunch of cryptic shit. I think this is not that cryptic. I think this is what you're saying, man. It's the greener pastures isn't always greener kind of thing. But also like don't do damage control now. Just sign the deal, man. That's what I'm trying. Like that's my conclusion. Like I get it. I know what you're trying to say. I am with chaos and how to interpret it. I'm sure all the Jet fans are interpreting it this way, but sign the deal, man. Sign it. 3 for 30. Take it. 3 for 33. Walk away. But 3 for 30. Sign it.
Try to remember this though. It's he has an agent. It's just people fighting for every dollar. They always wait to the deadline. Some or a lot of times the negotiation goes to a deadline. It's a business. They're fighting for every dollar they could. It doesn't mean that he doesn't have specific instructions. When you get to that line, sign the freaking
If I'm
deal.
his
You know?
if I'm his agent though, I have a problem with him tweeting this. That's where I'm gonna disagree with you. Like I don't think this helps his negotiation. I
Well,
think this.
what if they're working on what if they're working on just ridiculously low level? He doesn't give a shit details. Like you know what I mean? Like it might be the real numbers might be there. There's these little things in contracts. I mean, it might just be that kind of thing. This might be him wanting to give us a little. And this is all theory. This is all theory.
Damage control.
This is all theory.
Yeah.
He might be just putting a little thing out there early to get us excited because he's excited. We don't know.
Correct.
It might
Correct.
be done. You know, like the last pieces of a contract that they could be talking about might be so irrelevant you don't even know. So I mean, we don't know though. We have no idea. But if you ask me,
funny?
if you ask me to interpret what this means, it means stay loyal to the people who have been good to you. Don't go for the what looks to be the sweet, amazing offer.
You know, it's funny that he would even. For one, it has to be contract related. I'm not gonna back down from that. But like, are you really classifying what we've been to you as good? Okay, all right.
They might feel that he might feel that they've been good to him.
Yeah, I guess I'm not with him, but I will take it. 3 for 30. You know, we compared him to other running back contracts a while ago, Jeremy, and we had him, I think, consensus right below Aaron Jones. Okay, guess who is now going to be on the free agent market?
Yeah, but
Aaron Jones. I know. I'm just saying, like,
no.
I'm just saying.
He's being cut because the younger guy just passed him on the depth chart last year.
Yeah,
he's done.
Okay,
He's done.
I'll let that lie. I'm just saying, like, it's just comical that, hey, man, these guys hit the market all the time. Do you need to sign Brees? No, you don't. I think you need to if it behooves you. If he wants to test the greener pastures, it's not going to behoove you, and you just need to let him go.
I just think we have the money, and the position is cheap enough overall as a position that we don't need to create another hole in the roster. That would be my take on it. I'm not saying he's like the king of the world or anything, but like it's just he's a solid piece that you don't have to worry about. You can check off running back room. That's all I'm saying.
I like it, sir. I respect it. As lower than consensus as I've been on Brees, I've always been willing to hear other people out, and I'm with you. I'm actually right there with you. And again, I would give him 3 for 30 in a heartbeat. So we'll see how it plays out. His cryptic tweets notwithstanding. All right, let's leave it there, guys. Everyone, guys and girls in the chat, thanks for joining us tonight. Once again, neither Jeremy or I are trans. Just wanted to throw that out there. But thank you for watching. And anyways, I should say, thank you for watching anyways. And have a good night. Jeremy, have a good night, man. Catch you guys Friday night and Sunday night of next week.
Oh, I got an itch. You know, I'm convinced we're the most cursed team in professional sports.
You guys are bad.
You know, I've been saying this hot take for a long time, and I'm sticking to it. My hot take is that Will McDonald's going to hit 15 sacks.
No member of the New York Jets' Week 1 offensive line will miss a game all year.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time! So get ready to rumble!